And just like that, it's another Tuesday night. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining. So, like I said before, hopefully this will be one of those live streams where it begins to be a little bit more consistent. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should throw my mic on. That'll help. Jesus, I think this is my first time doing it. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me now a little bit better. So, anyway, I appreciate everybody being here as always. It's it's nice to finally be able to hopefully do these things a little bit more consistently. And let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully it's not an echo and I've got my mic and stuff all set up okay. So but yeah, anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate everybody for joining tonight. It's going to be, I think, the start for me of being able to do these much more consistently and hopefully bring some, more content, more interviews with people, just kind of doing some really kind of fun things. Thanks, Kitty. Appreciate it. So that's kind of the idea. Now I'm going to have going forward more time to kind of dedicate towards or to the channel, live streams, interacting with you guys. So like for later on tonight after this live stream, after we kind of go through a few rants and all of that, I'm going to do a little bit of a Patreon update, just kind of, or Patreon live, just to give a few updates, kind of shoot the what with everybody, catch up there, do some kind of fun things. So I want to be able to do more of these, interact with you guys and ladies and all of that, kind of really have a little bit more fun with all of this. That's kind of the idea behind it. So anyway, tonight's live stream, as you'll see, I've got a few of our picks that we just released through our Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Couple of Kentucky Spirits, our Russell's Reserve. So I know those went really fast. So congrats to everybody who was able to snag 1, 2, 3, 4. We also had the port finished Westland. You'll see this mug on there, right there, Big Vic in honor of him. So Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Malty Ho is that. So that was our port finished American single malt. So it's kind of a cool sticker. Look at that mug on there. So anyway, so yeah, tonight will be, again, hopefully the start of being able to do this stuff much more consistently. But and I appreciate you guys all for being here, sticking with me. I know the last couple months it's been, in and out with all the live streams, and it's been kind of just tough with work. Well, there's some things there that have kind of changed that will allow me more time to kind of do more of this stuff. So really looking forward to just interacting with all of you a little bit more. And yeah, so I'm really excited for that. So as you can see the thumbnail tonight, so I've got a couple of topics, and I'll go back through and say hi to everybody here real quick. But there's a few things that have kind of been in the whiskey news lately that I wanted to kind of touch on and just kind of get your thoughts on a few things. But one other thing I'm always kind of interested in is hearing any of your quote unquote like whiskey rants. What in today's day and age is kind of lighting a fire a little bit underneath you, or maybe something that irks you or whatever it may be. It's one of those things where we all have a one or two things that kind of rubs us the wrong way, so to speak. And it's always interesting just to kind of get different perspectives on those things. So I kind of relate that to when I do like a review. Again, the review is my opinion. Again, take it for what it is. If you agree with it, great. If you don't, fine as well. But I always think it's important for, when people are watching the video, to leave a comment, your thoughts, any of those kinds of things. So, so that when people are coming back to watch the video, they get the perspective of you as well. I think the more kind of thoughts, perspective, whatever it may be on really anything is always a good thing. It always becomes, a little more eye-opening, creates a little more dialogue, all of that kind of stuff. So, that part of it, I think is always important. And that's why I think just going forward for me, specifically with live streams, is just to be able to interact with all of you a little bit more, offer something that's, more, these kinds of things where it feels like it's a little bit more, kind of one-on-one, but with more than one person. But again, that for me is going to be something I'm going to try to really focus on a little bit more. So, like I said before, I appreciate everybody for joining tonight. So let me go back to the beginning here and just say hi to a couple people. Doug H was in first. Cheers, Doug. My man Wesley Hughes, good to see you, Wes. What else we got here? Marty, Whiskey Nose, good to see you as always, buddy. Sugar Kitty, always good to see you. What else we got? Mr. Mace, Mark Mace, good to see you, brother. Adam Shelton, good to see you, bud. Always nice to see you in here. Ben Draymond, good to see you, Benny. Ryan, how's it going, bud? Nate Cox, good to see you. Again, Adam. What else we got here? Mr. Sawyer, good to see you. I know I've said it a million times, but man, you and I are way too close to not be able to get together on some things. That's for sure. So hopefully now I've got a little bit more time and we can share a pour or two over some good conversation. So JG, good to see you, bud. My man Kelsey Dime, good to see you, brother, as always. Chris Connor, good to see you, bud. What else we got here? Jay Clark, 42796. Good to see you, buddy. Sounds very official. Smoke and Fire Water. Good to see you guys. William Wiley. Good to see you, William. How's it going? Hopefully you're staying a little cool down there. But anyway, so all right, let's get going here. We'll kind of dive into a few things. And again, like I said, thanks guys for joining tonight. Really, really appreciate it. What is your whiskey rant? If somebody wants to come on live, I'll give you basically 3 minutes to give me your rant, just so that we're not spending all night on that. But if you want, leave a comment below. I'll drop the link in quick, but you'll have 3 minutes to give me your rant. And once the clock is up, dunzo. So, what else we got here? But anyway, I figured this was one of those things where I know people go off on all kinds of different things, but it's exactly rant. It's something to at least hear, your perspective on whatever it is that may be something that's, getting under your skin or something that drives you a little bit crazy. So, or if you don't want to come on, you can just drop it in the old chat and I'll read it and we can see what my response will be, and then everybody in the chat. So we'll see how that's all goes. So Whiskey No Sugar Kitty ran for all of us. Yes. So I know you got something, Kitty. Let's see what else we got here. So I assume I'll hear some blue. You know what? It's kind of a too easy one, William. It seems to be one of those things where I don't want to say it's not like it's bad whiskey. I mean, we all know that it's, I'll say halfway decent, if not good. It's just oftentimes, and again, this will kind of carry over into, this will be kind of a carryover into a couple of the other topics we've got tonight that will kind of springboard some of that. But again, the Blue Run stuff is kind of open with all their butterflies and their heavy marketing and all of that. And again, like I said before, that will kind of carry over to a couple of our other topics tonight on a few of those things as well. But all right, I'm gonna completely ignore this one. So oh no, that wasn't it. Where was that? Darn it. This one right here. Come on, G. Come on. Wisconsin should not be a state. All right, that's not a rant. I'm going to delete that one later. That's for sure. So, what else we got here? Just got my M&J Wesson and Kentucky Spirit today. Excited to open them. Yeah, so I'll be doing the Patreon live only later on. So if there's anybody who's got any of these picks and you want to come over and have that, anything else you want, I'll post later in Patreon. So if you guys want to come over and kind of chew the fat a little bit, we'll kind of do some updates and things along those lines, but we'll do that as well. So, what else we got here? Yeah. So anyway, all right. So I'm gonna kind of cheers to you guys. Thanks again, everybody, for joining tonight. I'm gonna start out with a little bit of our Russell's pick that we did from. Geez, it took forever. I mean, Russell's is notorious for being awfully slow in getting picks and stuff out. But man, from the time we did the thing last year, I think it was maybe August, something like that. I think August of last year. And now we get these things just coming into, boy, what is it? Not even June. Releases what, a couple weeks ago. So the mid part of May. So what, 9 months we had to wait for turkey stuff. Fortunately, we've got another one that we're going to be doing the first part of August. I don't know, down there. So we'll see whatever it is we get this time. Hopefully we'll get something similar to what we were able to do this past time. But that'll be really, really fun. The turkey picks are really always something that's kind of fun to do. They got tons of barrels that they just roll out everywhere, and you can kind of just like have a free run at those things. There's so many of them. They were when we were out with Bruce. These things were just lined up throughout the rick. I mean, these things, there must have been, I don't know, 50 barrels just lined up, which was pretty cool. Now, obviously, you can't go through all of those things, or your day is going to end pretty quickly with all of that. But they kind of have an idea of what it is you're ultimately kind of like looking for. And I think he kind of guides you in the way of maybe what kind of profile it is that you're looking for. And you try it. I mean, that's the only way you're going to know what it is you like, by just, thieving from the right from the barrel and giving it a whirl. So again, cheers, guys. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. I greatly appreciate it. So, man, that is oily. Well, it's getting to be a little more cherry on this thing now. Nice tobaccos, nice leathers, all of that. Little slight, I'll say, kind of nutty profile, but boy, I think now that it's opened up, because I've had this thing open, we get our bottles maybe a week or two before we do the sale. So I kind of open mine like right away, just to kind of give an idea of, or just to kind of let it kind of get a little bit of airtime. And yeah, this thing is really a little heavier fruit notes than I was getting before. Kind of some of that cherry, maybe even a slight, I'll say like bubble gum kind of note on that, like a I don't know, whatever bubble gum is, I guess. So it's so yeah, that's a I mean, you can't go wrong with Russells. I mean, so many of them are so good. So Johnny, good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Who else we got here? Dave, how's it going? I missed the Russell Reserve pick. Was on a go. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, I guess some goods and bads. Well, you can come on later on, or join the Patreon only stuff, and you can live vicariously through us as we go through some of those. I'm sure there's a few of you guys who've now received, I guess, whatever it is. You might have received all 4 of these. Some people got all 4 of them. If you were lucky enough to be one of those, then congrats on all that. I'll be interested to see what people's thoughts are on the Westland port finished American single malt. For me, I really enjoy this one. I had a sample, so I mean, this doesn't look like I've drank much of this, but we had a really nice big sample that I've kind of plowed through already, and we'll start getting into this bottle. But man, is it ever good. It is like so much fruit. It's ridiculous, but in such a great way. So yeah, both of the Kentucky spirits, they're different, and I think you guys will appreciate that. So exactly, Tanner, where's Jimmy? That's the question. That one is, I don't have my sticker on this one. I'm still waiting for ours. We get our bottles usually before they even get stickers. So we always have to ask Shem and the guys at Keg and Bottles to send us over some stickers. But here's the Where's Jimmy? And this is the Fight Milk. And this is, geez, I forget the name of our Russells, for crying out loud. And then obviously the big Vic Mobile right here. So, oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that Rebel. Both of those, Ezra and the Rebels were both fantastic. So, all right, guys, give me some of your rants? What are some things that are kind of getting under your skin a little bit in the whiskey world? Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. So I want to hear what irks you, what pleases you, whatever it may be, and then we'll move on to the next little topic. So yeah, the Russells went fast, guys. I know it's just, one of those things where, you can never get enough of those. You're given such a relatively small allocation of really any of the turkeys. Again, we were going to end up with 2 Russells and 1 Kentucky Spirit, but one of the Kentucky Spirits, the Where's Jimmy, never proofed out. So it never got high enough to be a Russell's pick. So unfortunately, we ended up having to convert that one over to a Kentucky Spirit. So which helped us retain a lot of that kind of Russell's profile just now in a Kentucky Spirit bottle. So that was something that was kind of cool, was to take what we thought was going to be a Russell's and just kind of converted it into a Spirit pick. So hopefully you guys enjoy that one. So, all right, Chris says, just pop the Russells. First note on the nose is sweet cherry. Yep. Definitely that. So, and I think, Chris, as that thing opens up a little bit more and hopefully later on through the Patreon only, which I'll post again in a little while, the link after this. Hopefully you guys who've got your bottles will come on. It's an open platform. Again, it's an open conversation, whatever that will be, but I'll be interested to hear kind of your thoughts on those things as well. So, but Chris, I think that you'll see that Russell's is going to really start to open up, get much richer, definitely that cherry, a little bit more of that kind of bubblegum aspect to it, but very, very good bourbon. What else we got here? Yep, the open up the Big Vic. I love how everyone just refers to it as the open up the Big Vic. So, tired of the price creep. All right, Adam. So, this I think is just kind of inevitable. It's one of those deals where I think we're in this market right now of slight inflation, unfortunately, and maybe the whiskey brands are starting to kind of, take advantage of it. And again, that's the trickle down effect. All of the other things that become expensive just trickle down to the final product. So all the corn, rye, malted barley, if those prices start to increase, bottles, any of that stuff, that price is all obviously going to get passed on to us as the consumer, which is unfortunate, but it seems to be the day and age that we're in. So, oh man, loss of age statement for the ECBP. Dave, this is one of those things where I thought maybe I was going to be a little bit more upset with that. As much as you'd like to see that 12 on the ECBP, I wonder if this is just opening things up for them to also utilize some of their older whiskey in these blends. Again, maybe even though there was a 12-year age statement on the thing before, maybe they were using whiskeys that were at or right around that 12-year mark and leaving some of the older stock for something else. So I don't know exactly how to kind of totally take that. Because I mean, Heaven Hill, if there's anyone who's going to have a significant amount of older stock, it's probably going to be Heaven Hill. So, unless this is one of those things where, it's a little bit of a reset for them. Maybe they're wanting things to age up a little bit more, and this buys them a little bit of time. I'm not exactly sure, but at the end of the day, would we all still like to see the 12 on there? Probably so. But again, I haven't gotten the B 523 yet, so I'll be interested to kind of see how that kind of compares to the A123 from this year, which kind of started things off really, really well. So, Kitty, what Russell's equals B? All right, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Maybe it means something else, but Top Dog, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Hopefully you and the wife are doing well. Yeah, the good old Virginia ABC responded, statistically abnormal results for the liquor lottery. Nothing surprises me with that kind of stuff. Anytime you start leaving that stuff, in the hands of that or those kind of people, I think you still run the risk of always there being a little bit of kind of funny business. Bottles get lost and all of a sudden don't end up in the lottery or whatever it may be. So all right, TCT, just burning out on the chasing of bourbon, sticking with M&J picks. Thanks, appreciate that. I'm totally in your camp as well. I mean, I think this is like I was talking about a couple weeks ago with the I think amount of like really nice whiskeys that clubs are able to get their hands on. Is it even necessary to have to go and stand in a line for some other highly allocated bottle? I mean, at the end of the day, when you talk about allocation, you know, these bottles are allocated for club people. And again, you're only talking about, let's just, for sake of throwing out numbers here, let's just say there's 200 bottles. Well, for allocated things, generally speaking, there's more than 200. Now, maybe you don't get them, but again, you're one of 200 people that have a bottle of that. So the way I look at it from the standpoint of being able to be in a club and like what the club is offering, talking about their whiskeys, things along those lines, then it becomes a win-win. You get the stuff, order it, shows up at your door, you get to enjoy great whiskey. End of story. So I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, I'm a bit biased, of course, and I love what it is that Jason and I are doing. And, in collaboration again with you guys and doing all kinds of different things, we try to get the best of whatever it is we can. And that's the real fun part of doing the club stuff. So, what do we got here? My fear is they are going to use younger and quality will suffer. Well, I know you're probably talking about the ECBP. I just wonder if that's going to be one of those things that will happen. And again, if we start to see those ages going down, maybe we'll start to see a little bit more of a pattern. But this will be the first that we've seen of this in an awful long time as far as age statements. So we'll see. The jury is out still on some of that stuff. So. Eric says the age is still on the ECBP. Perhaps we will get a 14 at some point, perhaps a 10-year. So that's exactly kind of what I was thinking before, is that even though you're not going to get that 12, again, maybe we do. Maybe we get something that's older down the road or whatever it is. So there's something behind what it is they're doing. Heaven Hill's pretty darn smart with all of that. So it'll be interesting to kind of see. And again, right now, it seems like the B523 has not maybe lived up to the A123. I don't know because I haven't tried it yet. So I'll be interested to see, when or if I get a bottle of that, just the comparison. Because for me, the A123 was an absolutely fantastic whiskey. So what else we got here? Stag 19, 22B tastes exactly like Eagle Rare and Jack 12. Blew my socks off. All right. Well, that's kind of cool. All right. Good to hear that, Tanner. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. 75%. Only 75%. Come on, Dave. No, I get it. I've heard a little bit of that too, TCT. I've heard a little bit of that, whether it's a rumor, so maybe we'll see. Like Eric said before, and like you've said, maybe we'll see an older age statement. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what it is they do. So yeah, it would be kind of cool if they brought back the old pirate bottle. Those were pretty cool. All right, one last one. I'll kind of read what Jay's got here. Rant, Buffalo Trace, Henry McKenna, JD, Triple Mash, etc. Allocated in Virginia. High West Rendezvous was on the counter. Crazy. So you know what, that's just one of those things where I've come to accept allocation, and it is what it is. There oftentimes is no rhyme or reason for why certain things fly off the shelf. Again, a lot of it's FOMO. There's the hype that becomes around a lot of these things, and then the next thing you know, those bottles are gone, and there's maybe even better bottles sitting on the shelf because maybe the hype is no longer around those. So I can't figure out, of course, half the time why there's certain things that sit there and why certain things are gone. Like one thing I'll say I'm amazed at is the quality of like an Old Forester 1920. Like that's a great bourbon. And again, I know they're probably producing an awful lot of it, but at the end of the day, if you put that whiskey in a highly allocated bottle, I guarantee you people would be happier than heck with what that is. If that was in like a, birthday bourbon or something along those lines, people would be happy with that one. And that thing just sits there for $65. It's a pretty darn good value. And, anyway, so that's kind of one of my things I'm always amazed at in terms of what kind of gets me is the amount of quality bourbons that sit on the shelf while people are out chasing these other, I'll say labels, whether it's good or bad, that's for you to decide. But, I think oftentimes for big prices, these things that are kind of getting chased after are oftentimes probably not worth the money considering what's on the shelf, at a local liquor store. But that's my little rant. So, you know what? And I'm done with the FOMO part of it. I just have kind of gotten over it. And, I don't have any interest in going and chasing all that. If I get something great, I'm just not necessarily seeking things. If someone contacts me and says, "Hey, I can get you this," and I'm willing to maybe pay the money for it, and it's something I want, then maybe. But I don't get all worked up about those things. So, man, will there be a 10-year driftless? I don't think a 10-year soon. I think a lot of their stuff now I think they've got some things that are in that 8-year range. We haven't gotten them as picks yet. I think a lot of those right now are in that kind of 6-ish, maybe 7. So hopefully in the next couple years, we'll start to see some double digits on those driftless Glen picks. But man, when those start coming, I'll be really interested to try and see what those are. So I'm actually working on hopefully being able to put a tasting together with Justin at Driftless and offer that as kind of a little perk to the patrons to do maybe a 4 or 5 bottle kind of blind flight on some of those things. So stay tuned on that. What else we got? All right, let's move on to the next one. So these will kind of lead into basically both of them. But does whiskey marketing work? Well, I want to hear what you guys think, and if so, who is it working on? Do you find yourself kind of getting suckered into some whiskey marketing? And the marketing can be anything, whether it's, again, the use of celebrities, which we'll touch on in a little bit. Whether it's celebrities, whatever it may be, videos, whatever, So my question is, to you guys, does whiskey marketing work? And I was thinking about this today myself. And I mean, I guess I find myself when you get kind of suckered into like a good story or what a bottle looks like, to me, even being, in the kind of whiskey world as much as I've been, I think for me, the answer would be yes. For me, you're always, I think, a sucker for a good story. Again, once you try the whiskey, that will be the deciding factor of how everything else plays. But, again, the whiskey marketing is that necessarily for us? or is it for the other, let's say 95% of people that are not necessarily into whiskey as much as we all are? And does that fancy bottle, fancy packaging, fancy wording, whatever it may be, does that really play into the into the whole marketing scheme of things? I mean, it's called marketing for a reason, obviously. So they're trying to play everything up to the consumer to get them to buy that stuff. So all right, there was a few questions I saw before. Yeah, so I would kind of agree. And again, whatever it is, I don't think there's any necessarily right or wrong answer. It's all our perspective on whatever that is. But marketing works on the average whiskey consumer, which is not us. Yeah, so that was kind of, Eric, that was kind of one of those. All right, Eric, we'll talk later for sure, which we'll be doing. But yeah, I would agree. I think a lot of the marketing stuff is, probably beyond all of us. We're looking for something beyond the marketing, but I think that's one of those things where the marketing behind things just, becomes such a major factor for a lot of other things. I guess take yourself out of the whiskey part of it and kind of think of like a pizza, like a box or the wrapping, whatever it may be. Like that stuff will work. Now, again, it may only work one time if whatever is beyond the marketing is no good. But marketing is a really funny thing, a tricky thing. When you've got great people, it can do absolute wonders for your brand. So it can do a point. There is a local store that says every barrel pick he gets is heavily allocated, only a few in the state. So yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna like lie about things, like, which is kind of just some BS. Well, that's, I don't know if that's even like really marketing. That's just kind of trying to give people the business on that. So maybe try to sell some of that stuff. Question: how much of the allocation is marketing, and how much is really tied to limited supply? You know what? I would, anything that says Buffalo Trace is like limited supply, I would call BS. I mean, they're such a huge player in the whole thing that I don't buy into limited supply of that. Now, allocation, maybe if it's all going to a handful of places, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But I don't buy anything's limited or in like a short supply from like a Buffalo Trace. So. What's up, brother? Let's see, Keith. It worked on me in the beginning for sure, and I think it appeals to the newer buyer. Now I still fall for this guy has a new company. It's just one of those things where there are some buzzwords that will play into things. And again, there are all these marketing skills and tactics that are designed to, be appealing to really anybody. So that's part of that. So, all right, Wesley, what do you got? The way they market to us, just releasing new labels. Yeah, a part of it is that example, the new man, anything that says new and Weller coming out, I just scroll past it. I've just gotten to the point, Wes, I don't even care anymore. It probably would never meet the expectation that I think it would probably be. Maybe it's good, but I mean, at the end of the day, how good can it be? And you're never going to probably find that at retail, which is probably one of the things that irks me the most with that stuff. Whiskey marketing today. All right, what do we got, Mark? Whiskey marketing today is seeking more segmentation than ever before. The new consumer is not interested in the heritage of whiskey. I can see your point on that for sure. Man, this is probably a good one. Willet Pot Still, best whiskey marketing ever. So again, you stick something in a fancy packaging, and I know a million people, including myself, early on, I wanted the bottle. I knew nothing about the whiskey that was in there. I saw the bottle, and that's a great example. It was one of those things that I wanted to have, still have one downstairs. I even have it on that stupid little round wood piece that they've got. It says Willet on the front of it. I mean, they got me hook, line, and sinker. And then once you try it, you're like, man, that thing is just, I mean, that's just a bottle. I mean, it could be anything in it. You may as well just put food coloring in it, because I don't think it's really much of a whiskey, and it's probably all by design. So, Mr. Dark, good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. I do think new brands need to nail it on their initial labeling. Yep. Example, BBC. A lot of it is that, and I would say it's probably even more important for smaller brands. If you're going to do marketing, you better do marketing really well with smaller brands, because it can be make or break. Oh boy, we're not even getting into the Blue Run type of deal. So, that is one of those things where, marketing is just one of those really tricky things, and who and whys of all of that, especially when we're talking specifically whiskey, is, what is it that is going to get not only you, but the masses, and to find buzzwords, great pictures, all of that kind of stuff all plays into, really, really all of that. So it's funny to see when you go into a liquor store and you see all these bottles and labels, and then either hear or see videos of, early mornings and the dew and all of that is out there, and it's covering cornfields or wheat fields, whatever it may be. And you're like, man, they are like laying this stuff on really thick. But again, at the end of the day, you watch it and you're like, that was kind of a cool video. And if nothing else, it probably helps you to remember maybe what that brand, was. So I saw it today on one that was called, and maybe you guys have heard of this. What was it? Something 10 whiskey, high 10 whiskey or something. I think it's got like a blue label. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, put it in the chat. I'd love to kind of know what it was. But I saw a video on them today, and the video production was great. So clearly they're dumping some money into marketing. So, all right, Wesley. So yeah, Barrel King is an anomaly. They didn't really market. Yeah, they didn't. What they did was, and I've talked to Jared a lot about this, and Jared and I have become pretty close actually. But, what Barrel King did was introduce their product. And once they were able to get that product out, and, even in a small scale, there was some traction behind it. And I think the traction came a lot from, us, in the whiskey world, all of us in the chat and all of that. It's one of those things where, they did it kind of organically, where they went directly to the whiskey, consumer, us as the whiskey consumer, I mean. And then once we got a hold of those bottles and started talking about it more, it just kind of exploded for them. So, I mean, things are going extremely well for them now. And it's great. It's great to see. And, Jared and Rachel, they continue to kind of push the envelope with what it is they're doing, and again, I've said it to him a million times. When he threw that stag sticker on there, at the time, there was nobody finishing MGP in Stag Junior barrels. And it wasn't just marketing, which was maybe a small part of it. That little sticker was probably a small part of the marketing. But once you tried it and tasted the depth of that whiskey and what those barrels were doing, it was kind of over at that point. So it was kind of a bit of a genius move, whether it was intentional or not. They probably didn't know. They were a small brand at the time, and they were trying really anything that would maybe work. And they kind of nailed it, and they continue to do so, trying different things. And yeah, I mean, Barrel King has quickly become probably one of my favorites. I love a lot of the stuff that they continue to do. All right, what else we got here? So, man, small batch. This is one of those things where, I mean, I've even seen, and again, hopefully somebody else can explain this to me, but when it says single barrel small batch, like, I don't know. I mean, if it's truly a single barrel, then how the hell can it be a batch of anything, like literally a batch of something is more than one. I mean, maybe I'm like overthinking this, but I don't know how you can have a single barrel small batch. And I've seen that, I believe, on barrels. So if somebody can explain that to me, I would love to hear the answer, because I have no idea how you can have a small batch that's a single barrel. I don't know. I'm at a loss. So all right, Chris, what do you got? Oh, that was towards somebody else. Okay, sorry. So William, so I mean, oftentimes this is, you can have, again, a bit of the lipstick on a pig type of, thing is, yeah, that's a slippery slope. When if your goal is to hit something hard, fast, and not care about the it is doing for you in the in the immediate, that's a real tough one, because again, if you are putting fancy everything else, bottle, label, stickers, whatever it may be, and what's inside the bottle is no good, you're never going to get those people back. And I think oftentimes that becomes the demise of whatever the product is, unless you sell so much of it early on and it doesn't matter, and now you're extremely wealthy based on that one play, great. But I would say the vast majority of that doesn't happen with marketing and whatever the products are. So yeah, that's a very, very slippery slope for that. So yeah, same as the Solera process. So I mean, Solera is another one of those things where it can be kind of interesting, just based on the process of it. But man, it's just so many of these buzzwords and these things that they use, small batch, just anything that will trigger, different, I guess, responses from people. And again, they've studied all these terms. I mean, they know, what it is that works in the whiskey world. So cheers, Katie. Good to see the boss in here, as always. I think I saw Eric in there before. I know you had a question, but cheers, Eric. Good to see you, brother. Mr. Scott, good to see you, bud. As always, tried a 4-year MGP retailing at oh boy, a 4-year at $100. Man, I would say that's a tough sell right there. 4-year whiskey for $100. Oh boy. I don't know. I mean, unless it was like amazing. And again, I guess maybe you could have something that was still a great whiskey, I guess. I mean, great would be probably a bit of a reach. Could be good, but man, that'd be a tough one. So, all right. So I think we've hit on the marketing. I think we're all kind of on the same page with marketing. I don't think you can, market as much stuff to, us as the small percentage, vastly, or most of the marketing that is there is out to the masses beyond us, the people that want to see stickers, labels, fancy anything, fancy bottles, whatever it may be. Those are all triggers for people in really any industry. Think about it like this also. One more thing was, it's got me a few times with beer and the labels that are maybe not as much now, but man, a year and a half ago, everyone's, I think, idea was to produce or make the craziest label for a beer can as possible. And it got me, I'll say, a handful of times, just because of what it was. And it was absolutely crazy. So anyway, I'll say marketing got me on that part of it, where I kind of knew what the beer was. Then I saw the label. I'm like, kind of hard to pass that one up. So, oh boy, here he is. Yes, I've already talked about the beautiful face on the bottle. That's not by mistake that thing is facing out there, Mr. Vic. I'll tell you that. So, hopefully you can get on the. I don't know if Jason's going to do it or not. I didn't send him anything before, but I'll probably do a little Patreon live after this live stream, just to kind of touch base and chat with you guys and just leave it as an open forum. So want to just kind of throw that out there to you guys. So anybody who's a patron, I'll open it up here later. But thanks, brother. Appreciate the super chat. So hopefully you can hop on there later on tonight, which will be just a little bit after this live. So what else we got here? So yeah, this is an easy one right here. Yeah, sounds like the dirigible. Oh yeah, it could very well be, William. I wasn't even thinking about that. So because that thing was like in a fancy box and isn't like a green or like emerald looking bottle or something along those lines, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Because man, that's gonna be a one-time buy. I mean, that's gonna be one of those things where people buy maybe all of the bottles once, and there better be a bunch of them, because if there's not, and people taste it and they don't really like it, unless they're convinced that the more money you pay for a bottle, the better it is, and there are a bunch of those people as well. But I don't know, so it's good old marketing. You gotta love it. So what's Keith say? I would buy beer. Oh wow, this is one. Yeah, so I would agree, Keith. That's kind of the one I had. I had like a bunch of like crazy dogs, and then one of them had like a Boston Terrier or something. I don't know. Like I saw it, I'm like, okay, well, I'm an idiot. I'm gonna buy this. I don't even know if I like the beer or not. But all right, Maddie, what do you got here? So did you cover all the holiday packs with the free glasses and flasks that move some stuff? Did you cover all the holiday packs with the oh yeah no, so that's a good one too. So yeah, around the holidays, yeah, all the ones with the glasses and flasks. That's a great one. I'm glad you brought that up. But that's another one of those things where it's always amazing what a couple of like either like a pint glass for beer stuff, oftentimes you'll see it in there, or a couple of like little cheap tumblers. And like honestly, do many people need more pint glasses or more like tumblers? I mean, those are probably about the cheapest things you could possibly get, but you see a damn glass or some like little cheap flask included, and now you think you're getting like the greatest steal that's out there. So yeah, that's a great one. Good way to point that one out, Matt. What else we got here? Now that is very true. If you get some crappy beer, maybe for a 4-pack of some 16 ounces, maybe you pay $15 or $20 if it's on the pricier side. Yeah, and it's not great. Well, you've always got a friend who will probably drink them anyway. But yeah, having a lot of crappy whiskey wouldn't be so good. That's for sure. Good point. Yeah, applies to so many things, Terrence, like bottles, all these things, bottles, labels, really any of that kind of stuff, and now you're starting to see more people including QR codes. You can scan these things and it gives you videos and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're laying it on pretty heavy out there. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, comments went away there for a second. What else we got here? So let's do this, the last one, and then we'll jump over to a Patreon. So here's the other thing. This kind of carries over to, are we tired of, with all kind of the, Marianne Eves or Barnes or whatever it is that she goes by now, and her newest release, and everyone makes things sound, innovative, where it's really not. It was just a slightly different grain mash bill. Has the celebrity whiskey jumped the shark? If anyone in here is too young to understand what the term jump the shark is, actually, rather than me explain it, I'd love to hear somebody else explain what jump the shark, what jump the shark means. Maybe I'm kind of dating myself a little bit. And this show was even a little bit slightly before my time, kind of as well. But anyway, so what do we got here? So I'm here for you're here for your bourbon journey. Good to see you, Tunes. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a Boston Terrier on a whiskey bottle? So Mr. Mace, thank you very much. Great stream, Scotty. Appreciate the content and all you do. Thanks, bud. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everyone's support. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Like I said before, it's going to become one of those things for me, a little bit more, kind of constant. So get used to this mug, good or bad. So, thanks, brother. Appreciate the super chat. What else we got here? Yeah, I mean, I thought, yes, exactly. Kevin, you nailed it, bud. Good to see you, by the way, bud. The the term "jump the shark" was, I think it was Fonzie was like on the back of, I think it was on the back of a shark or something, and then that was, I think, the final straw for, or jumping the shark, so to speak, for Happy Days was enough when the Fonz, yes, jumped the shark, exactly. So good to see. Got a bunch of other old timers in here, so good to see that. So, but again, I guess kind of getting back to was it actually him? I don't remember, but it's I don't remember if he was actually on a shark or if he was jumping a shark or something like that. I mean, probably makes sense that he would be jumping a shark. That's probably really what it was. So, but thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yes, that's what it was. It was literally a Fonz jumping a shark. Thanks, Paul. I remember that now. So it's one of those things where everyone uses that analogy of when something's been too much. But anyway, the whole celebrity thing is, to me, again, kind of falls into that whole marketing thing. Again, I get it, with Turkey and Beam and all that, and Mila Kunis and who's the all right. The hell is that guy's name? Matt? No, not Matt. Is it Matt? The fuck's that guy's name? I forget his name. He's the all right guy. But anyway. Yeah, Marianne Eves is the market. Yeah. Okay, for the market. Yeah, there are so many. That's the thing with these celebrities. And again, it applies to, again, so many things. But let me ask you guys this. Has anyone had a whiskey that is endorsed either heavily by a celebrity or a celebrity's name on a bottle of anything that has been worthy of you buying another bottle? So I don't think that necessarily means it's got to be great. Could be good. You just want another bottle of it. But was there anything? Yes, Matthew McConaughey. Thanks, Chris. I could not remember that guy's name. But is there a product like that you've tried and enjoyed and made you think, well, maybe I would actually buy another bottle of that? I know McConaughey did it with the turkey product. What was that? The mesquite one. I forget the name of it, but it's it's one of those things where, again, I'm trying to think if I've had anything with a celebrity's name on it that I've actually thought was okay, or would consider, if not buying it for myself, buy it for. This is a good one. The old George Foreman grill. Yes, that guy sold a lot of those things. And Matt, I would say I'm guilty. I actually had one of those damn things too, and actually worked okay. It was not bad. It was kind of probably like a cheap ass, like panini grill kind of thing almost. I remember, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were white, right? With those little kind of grates and stuff in them. Yeah, the George Foreman grill. My God, that's Long Branch. Nice. Kelsey says long meh. That's good. God, that brings back some good old memories. Man, I remember my mom used to use that damn thing all the time. The George Foreman grill. Going old school. All right, so Jack Daniels, Eric Church, maybe. Okay. I know that kind of was a hot one there for a little while. Never had it, but I could see that. Brad Paisley's, I know that was the one that they did with, I think, Bardstown Bourbon Company. Never tried it. Heaven's Door, I know with Bob Dylan, that was okay. That one was okay. I think I remember actually having some of that as well, and it being kind of okay. Which now, speaking of Bob Dylan, I think he's starting his actually own distillery or brand or something somewhere in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what else we got here. Man, I heard horrible things about this. I'm not a Scotch guy, like most or all of you know, but Game of Thrones Scotch was overpriced and underwhelming. Yeah, it's kind of what I've heard. The Slipknot whiskey, I know that was the one that they did from Cedar Ridge. Slipknot whiskey single barrel was good as well. Okay, interesting. Good to hear that. Like we did not really a celebrity bottle is down. Oh, where's Chris? Where's down here? Just curious. But yeah, that's always one of those things where, again, and they've used celebrities for, I mean, all kinds of things. I mean, man, what was it? All the cigarette stuff. Joe Namath, I think he used to do like a bunch of booze commercials, like dressed up in all his like fur jackets. And again, I get it. There's people that love celebrities, athletes, whatever it may be, and they're just willing to buy those products because they're being endorsed by their favorite celebrity or athlete. I mean, that's the whole point of what it is. So, all right, Matt, what do you got here? What about celebrity blenders such as The Nose or folks like Jackie Z? I think they're naming a brand moves product. Sure, it can, and I think with that, equally so, that can be a good thing. Oftentimes they'll get really good reputations for blending whiskeys, and people trust what it is that they've done before. Again, speaking of Nancy Fraley and Jackie Zykan, they've kind of developed and they kind of have a history of being able to put some really good things together. So when people do see those products, they they wanna buy them, and I get it. Again, that's a really good example as well. So I love it, clearance racks. Yeah, oftentimes you'll see a lot of those celebrity things. That's what it was. Pantyhose Kitty. Good call. I remember him being all dressed up in his freaking fur coat and trying to remember what it was he was hawking, but no pun intended, by the way. But pantyhose, man, what a interesting thing. Broadway Joe, man. Oh boy. Clearly the live stream is now off the rails. I've heard Old Ritter is going into mass production, celebrity sellout. Yes. Again, guys, remember what I said about lipstick on a pig? If you guys are looking for anything along those lines, when Ritter releases his own brand, just think lipstick on a pig, boys and girls. I hear those bottles are allocated. Tell you, the guy wins something, he gets a bottle with a sticker on his name, and now there's not a hat in the world that'll hold that'll be able to fit on that head. It's so big now. Yeah, so Bob, just picked up a Barrel King aged in stag barrels. The company is very transparent. So yeah, I mean, Jared and Rachel, they don't make any bones about what it is they do. They'll tell you, anything. And again, whether it's marketing or not, when you try that bottle of whiskey, that is going to, be maybe some already decent or good MGP that you then finish in a stag, George C. Stag Junior barrel or Stag Junior barrel. I mean, you quickly kind of understand why people have kind of gone crazy over it for a good reason. So, thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it, bud. Have a good night as well. Thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate it. So, anyway, so that was kind of my my few things I wanted to kind of get out there to you guys tonight. I'll be doing like I said before, we'll do a little Patreon live here in maybe the next 10-15 minutes. So if there's any patrons that want to jump over and share any of their recent turkey or Knob Creek rye, any of that good stuff. And hey, this is the perfect example or time. If you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, and if nothing else, you want to join the Patreon only live, there's a link in the description or pinned in the comment. Become, and you're going to get some pretty solid whiskeys. I'll say that. Jason and I, we try pretty darn hard to get you guys the best of whatever it is we can different things, all of that kind of stuff. We're always on the hunt for that. So I think as most of the guys that are and guys that are and girls that are in here tonight, you'll see. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding. You know, we try really, really hard to again bring you guys the best we possibly can. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just saying I believe, you know, wholeheartedly that anything we are willing to put a sticker on or our name on it, we're happy to drink that stuff with anybody. So not trying to sell anything or be a marketing guy or any of that kind of stuff like we've been talking about tonight, but you know, it's a fun thing. You know, I mean, kind of funny. We're talking marketing here. I've got bottles with stickers and all these kind of things on it. You know, again, a little bit of it is more fun stuff for us, but you know, the experience is being able to choose these whiskeys and then share them with you guys. So, like I said, if you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club and it's something that you're interested in, either hit me up on email. I can give you more info or whatever it may be. But guys, thank you so much. Appreciate everything. You'll see me next Tuesday. Real quick, I guess just a little information on what we're doing for the club if anyone's interested. So this coming Friday, we'll be down in Indiana at Hard Truth. We'll be with a few of the other guys. I know Darrell, Todd Ritter, Jeffrey Wack, myself, Jason. Who else is coming? Man, I know I'm forgetting two more people. I cannot think right now off the top of my head. But again, we'll be at Hard Truth. We're going to select one of their Sweet Mash Ryes. We'll see how that goes. We're looking forward to that. Then the following week, we'll be down, or weekend, we're going to be down at Barrel King, which I saw lurking in here a couple minutes ago. It could be either Jared or Rachel. Cheers, guys. But anyway, we will be, yes, Bill Kavanaugh. Thanks, Todd. I think, and his wife as well. So, we'll be down at Barrel King in, I'll say, a week and a half on the weekend doing our community blend. We've got myself and Jason, 13 other people that were lucky enough to be chosen to help with that. So we're all going to be part of that kind of basically going to be a 2-day event down there. So we're really, really looking forward to being able to put together one heck of a blend for everybody in the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. So anyway, thanks, guys. Look for the link dropping here in a couple minutes in Patreon. I'll update that, send over a link, and then you guys are free to join if you want. And looking forward to kind of chatting with you guys over there, sharing some different pours of some of the bottles you guys have recently gotten. So, and then one thing my wife just reminded me, thank God for her on that. For anybody, and again, this is patrons, anybody, the end of August, let me check real quick here what the date is actually. August, I think it's August 25th and 26th, I believe, is we're doing our Mash and Journey meetup at Sagamore in Baltimore, Maryland. So I know I've dropped the link for all of those ticket sales. That's going pretty well so far. So if anyone's interested and want to join that, the Patreon link is there. Or if you have any information, or if you want more information, shoot me an email. I'll be glad to give you any information on the meetup. We've been kind of communicating a lot through the Patreon stuff, but that will give you guys a good idea of what we've got planned. It's a lot of stuff. We've got really, basically, it starts from about Friday night, where we've got a 3 or 4 hour event at Sagamore. And then the following day, Saturday, is an all-day thing out at the Sagamore farm. All kinds of great stuff going on there. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to give you some more info on that. If you've seen it in Patreon and you were on the fence about doing it, trust me, we put a lot of work into it for getting all of these things planned. I know Jason, he's got that background, that marketing background a little bit too. So he was able to put a lot of really, really good music, cigars, whiskey, of course, food, everything. So it's a lot going on. So I'm really hoping that we get a nice chance to meet an awful lot of you guys. So we're looking forward to it. So anyway, guys, thanks. If anyone ever has any questions, about anything, feel free, shoot me an email, mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. Happy to answer any questions or chat with you guys about anything. But anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Jeffrey, I'll count on seeing you there, bud. Appreciate it. I'll see you on Friday as well. But guys, thanks again. Appreciate you joining tonight. You'll see me a little bit more consistently. Like I said, whether that's a promise or a threat, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. So again, guys, thank you very much for joining tonight. We will see you next Tuesday. Remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers, guys. Have a great Tuesday night. See ya.